All right, and we are live.
Hello, everybody.
Let me make sure everything's going good. Okay, where is. Sorry, getting all set up with this.
Oh, good.
And it doesn't show the system how it's supposed to be. Awesome. There we go. Found it. Sweet. So we are live.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, let's start watching the movie. We have no one online right now, so.
Well, at least yet.
Right. Can you actually tell me a little bit of a background about this movie?
So this has Basil Rathbone, who was in one of the Frankenstein movies with Boris Karloff. That would be the son of Frankenstein. That actually was the last Frankenstein movie that had Boris Karloff as the monster. And yeah, but yeah, he played the son of Doctor Frankenstein in that movie. And as far as I know, Basil Rathbone played Sherlock Holmes in a lot of movies. This is one of them. And when I previously had this movie on my YouTube channel without commentary, it got me a lot of views, and so that right there tells me that this movie definitely is pretty popular, which makes sense since that Sherlock Holmes is a pretty popular character.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get going. Hold on. I realized that was way too loud.
Did you not hear anything that I said?
Nope.
Okay, well, what I said is that what I've noticed for a lot of these Sherlock Holmes movies with Basil Rathbone is that they'll have the same intro with the same music and everything, but all that they'll do is just change the name of the movie itself, and they probably did that just to help cut down on costs.
Yeah. They do that a lot with a lot of different things.
They do. Yeah, instantly when you hear a bell like that with, you know, in a at night with fog everywhere, it instantly sets that mood.
It does. And it sets it in the time. Because this is definitely showing that this is an older time. Definitely not anything that's really
Modern.
relevant, especially in like the 1970s.
Which makes sense since that Sherlock Holmes did take place in that time period in the first place.
Yeah. Wondering if that is loud enough.
Who could be ringing the church bell at this time? Maybe it ain't an ooh, Father. Maybe it's an it. And maybe it's tolling the bell.
Oh, there's no such things as ghosts and monsters. Haven't I made that clear to you?
Something tore the throats out of Charlie Rousseau's sheep, and that something didn't leave any tracks.
Andy Trent here saw a weird glow moving across the marshes last night. And this morning, he found two of his sheep dead.
Their throats torn open. Maybe the same thing that killed Andy's sheep is tolling the bell.
I was on my way just now to deliver a special letter at Penrose Manor when a strange light appeared on the road before me, then moved quickly across the marshes and faded into the mist. I turned the cart around and hurried back here.
It's not real. First the light, and now the bell.
There's a very sound and logical reason for the bell tolling at this time, and I'm going to find out what it is. You can drive me to the church pots.
The letter can wait. No hurry.
Nothing will harm you if you're with the priest.
Is that true, Father?
Ah, what you need is more faith and less imagination. Come along.
So it's definitely set in like the 1800s. Is this kind of era that it's set into?
Yeah.
And you can tell that because they don't have cars and the type of way that the buildings are structured and how a lot of the clothing is.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I'm sure somebody probably has already done it since Sherlock Holmes is in the public domain. I'm pretty sure that somebody has done like a modern day take on Sherlock Holmes, like where it's all set in modern times.
It wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me either.
Thank goodness that bell has stopped.
But yeah, the only Sherlock Holmes movies I've seen are the ones with Robert Downey Jr. and
What with this phantom around the marshes?
these ones.
I saw it. Came tonight.
Definitely. This is actually the first Sherlock Holmes I've seen.
Who would that be?
Oh, okay. Well, first time for everything, right?
Yep.
Where's Lord Penrose?
He's gone to Quebec.
Get him on the phone immediately.
What's happened, Father?
Lady Penrose, dead, clutching the bell rope, calling for help. It was dreadful.
Her ladyship.
Call Sergeant Thompson at the police station. Ask him to come to the church immediately. Come with me, Potts. I'll need you.
Yes, Father. Operator, put me through to Quebec. Lord William Penrose. Yes. He's addressing a meeting of the Royal Canadian Occult Society at the Quebec Hotel.
It's urgent, sir.
Page,
Yes, sir?
Lord Penrose. The Mont Rouge is on the telephone. It's urgent. It's in the gold room.
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, as you know, the greatest obstacle in proving the authenticity of the occult lies in finding facts. However,
So I guess question for you: if you were to set Sherlock Holmes in the modern times, what would you do with the character?
must finally acknowledge the actual existence of the supernatural. You admit that, Mr.
I
Holmes?
truly don't know what I would do for the character alone,
Conclusions drawn from facts.
but it definitely would be.
case of the Hound of the Baskervilles, as well as in the adventure of the Sussex Vampire, we found that...
I'll probably set it in like a New York environment,
Gentlemen,
a large city.
Yeah.
facts. Many years ago, 100 to be exact,
I don't know exactly how I would set it up. Like I don't know how I would do it.
Yeah. I mean,
three
I
more found dead.
I could definitely picture that.
Hence, the town's rather grim.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Sherlock Holmes, it just works perfectly like to have that set in a larger city.
Superstitious peasants
Yeah.
who we consider haven't finished, Mr. Holmes. La Mort Rouge has again been the scene of these
Like
strange
Atlanta
unexplained
or
occurrences.
even Orlando. But yeah, definitely in New York.
Yeah.
Only drawback is that it's crazy expensive, like to go film a movie in New York, which is why a lot of movies that take place in New York, they will just try to make it look like it is set there,
Yeah.
Would you believe it? Holmes could...
just to help cut down on costs.
Ignore them if you can.
Exactly.
Urgent, sir.
Okay, well, go ahead. I never ignore facts, Lord Penrose. And I have no doubt that the incident...
But yeah, New York is pretty expensive.
However, the interpretation of this fact...
Well, not only just New York, but also like LA and all that.
Yep, LA. I'm not sure which one is more expensive, LA or New York, but yeah, they both are pretty expensive.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I think you can make the argument that almost anywhere is expensive now.
Sir. Very urgent.
Yeah. Well, trust me, it's very expensive to do it anywhere.
Yep.
You have to have millions of dollars to do it in most places.
Yeah, like heck, you know, like just like how even my rent at my apartment like just went up. So
Hmm.
See a little overwrought, Watson? I'm leaving immediately. card, Watson. Hurry. Yes, sir. Gentlemen, my wife has just been found dead. Her throat torn out. In exactly the same manner as the sheep.
This is terrible.
Where would you film Sherlock Holmes, or what would you do with that? That would make it more modern.
Reasons unknown. I'm sorry if I
That's a
can be of
great
any
question,
assistance
but
to
yeah,
you. No. I'm afraid
I
the
really
house
like
is
your
not
idea of
mold.
setting it in modern times.
Under
Because,
the
you know,
circumstances,
if you set it in modern times,
Yes, indeed.
that would help to cut down on the costs.
terrible thing.
Mr. John, would you be good
Yeah.
enough to convey our condolences to...
Yes, I'd be glad.
You know, I guess if it's gonna be set in modern times, have it tackle on modern day,
Don't often get food
you
like
know,
you do
modern
now.
day mysteries and modern day issues.
Not often. I gotta get a paper.
That definitely be the big thing that had to be done. But like,
Here's something
would it
like
just
that,
be a?
Monroe.
I would like to see a
Found in the church with her throat horribly cut.
slasher
Evidently dragged herself from the
that's
house.
kind of a Sherlock Holmes slasher.
Summon help.
Now that you say that, you know, with the current trend going on about taking advantage of public domain properties and turn them into horror movies, you know, Sherlock Holmes, it would make a lot of sense to make a Sherlock Holmes horror movie, especially since, you know, it's all about mystery and all that anyway, so
Yeah.
Yet like a terrible premonition, it is all so frightfully real. I heard of your being in Quebec, and I'm turning to you, a stranger, and asking your help, in the frantic hope that you will not fail me.
Who's it from?
Signed, Lillian Penrose.
I was gonna ask who would you cast as Sherlock Holmes, but I don't think you know as many actors as I do.
Lady Penrose lived
No, I really don't. That'd be more of a decision for you.
Perhaps it is not
Okay,
simple, sir.
well,
What in
Simon Phillips, who I know, like who,
glad we got
ironically, he plays Mickey Mouse in The Mousetrap, which is the first Mickey Mouse horror movie. I definitely think that he has a Sherlock Holmes look. So
Great Scott Holmes, you mean you're going to take on the
Yeah,
case?
he'll
Or-
probably do good.
From the airport and cancel
Yeah.
our reservations, will you?
I can show you a picture of him, and yeah, I definitely think he has that Sherlock Holmes look. If they want to go younger, Nikolai Leon, who I know, who plays Christopher Robin in the first Winnie the Pooh horror movie, I think that he could pull it off. You know, he would just. But yeah, and I mean, since that you've seen the same movie, since you and I both saw it in theaters, I can. I mean, granted, that was 2 years ago when we saw it in theaters, but I can imagine that you remember what his face looks like, though.
Yeah, I
you
can
see
remember
him as-
him.
Can you remember him as? Can you see him as Sherlock Holmes?
Cold, cheerless-looking room.
I think there is a good chance he could be. I don't, since I haven't really seen a whole lot of Sherlock Holmes, I don't really know a whole lot about him, about the movies, so it's kind of hit and miss, but I think definitely any of those two could be a good option for
Right.
Sherlock Holmes.
Who are you?
Yeah, I'm just trying to.
I apologize for this intrusion.
Would you mind, gentlemen? Mr. Holmes.
Where would you put it? Where would you think about, like, if you do a slasher, a Sherlock Holmes slasher? Where would you put that movie at? Like, what type of environment would that be in?
I received this letter from Lady
Do you mean as to what kind of city I would put it in?
City or town? Where would you put it at?
I feel like New York would be like the go-to choice. So how about that we flip those expectations around? Yes, it is a big city, but you know, London I also feel like has been like a go-to place for a lot of the Sherlock Holmes movies. So how about we flip expectations?
this horrible deed lies in
Yeah.
the understanding of psychic
Maybe in Orlando, or maybe in Atlanta, Georgia, or maybe in Atlantic City.
I was thinking possibly like Amsterdam
might help dispel much of the mystery that surrounds these happenings.
over in the UK, because it definitely, Sherlock Holmes definitely feels like a United Kingdom type of movie.
You'll find him at the police
So I'd say putting it over in the UK area,
Excuse me if I don't show you out.
Okay.
that would be really good.
then in that case, all the actors definitely would have to have that UK accent.
Yeah. Like definitely if it was in like or like Berlin, that would be definitely a good kind of environment for it too.
Hmm. But yeah, I mean, a Sherlock Holmes movie that takes place in Atlanta, Georgia, or even like New Orleans
Right, Watson,
or
I have.
Hmm.
something like that.
Where?
I think that that would be
Before Penrose
pretty
returns and has us thrown out of the
interesting.
house.
Yeah.
Clumsy job. Just missed the jugular vein. Must have bled to death.
And it bled for several hours, eh?
Possibly more.
Long enough for Penrose to leave Le Mort Rouge and reach Quebec in time for the meeting?
Holmes, you don't suspect
I
Penrose?
suspect nobody, Watson.
Sorry, it looked like we had a little bit of a slight glitch in our system,
Technology.
right? It's great when it works.
Your best friend and your worst enemy.
Absolutely.
Saw it last night in the fields.
A love-hate
moving in and out of
relationship.
the shadows.
You're the butler, aren't you?
I was the butler. I've given notice.
You know, Steven Spielberg directing a Sherlock Holmes movie, I think would be pretty interesting. But yeah, that definitely would be shooting for the stars because he's like the biggest filmmaker in the entire world.
Yeah.
Um,
I trust you found what you were looking for.
Two things have been
trying
made
to
clear to me,
think,
Penrose. That your wife was murdered.
Christopher Nolan, I think, would be a great choice. You know, with him doing Oppenheimer and the
Will you
Dark
leave,
Knight
or must I call the
trilogy. I
police?
mean,
promise
I
if
could
necessary.
definitely see his
Well, I'm
style of
away from the police station
filmmaking working very, very well with Sherlock Holmes.
Well, I think Victor Miller, if it was a slasher, I think Victor Miller would probably be able to do a good good director for a slasher.
Funny you said that because when I had him on Sit Down by the Fire, I actually asked him if he ever thought about directing. He said, hell no.
Really?
So he would write the script, I would imagine, as long as they pay him, but to direct it, no.
Severed the jugular vein.
Interesting. I thought he would be good for a director.
Well, I'm
All
sorry
right.
to burst your bubble, but
That's a little disappointing, but I mean, even him writing it, I think he'll be able to write a pretty good.
yeah, you know,
Good.
I mean, at least they can have him write it.
Yeah.
Wait, I just thought of this. Now you got me on the idea of Friday the 13th. Since I know Adam Marcus, who did Jason Goes to Hell, you know, Adam Marcus seems like that he does want to do other. Well, crap. It would be a Sherlock Holmes horror movie. So it would still be a horror movie, but, you know, it definitely would be something new for him
One more question,
to do something with Sherlock Holmes. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, now that I thought of that, I definitely would love to see his take.
Yeah.
So if it's going to be set in the UK, I actually do know a guy named Gene who actually directed a movie with Kevin Spacey. And yeah, I mean, Gene is in the UK, so if it's going to be a UK production, I think that Gene like would be a excellent choice.
Well, isn't Nikolai also in the UK?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yep,
And he definitely has the UK accent.
Yep, and also I think Nikolai definitely does have that look. Like Nikolai definitely does have that old Hollywood look.
Yeah.
And Simon Phillips also is from the UK as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of these people who I'm naming, all of them are from the UK.
Yeah, I think that would be an interesting duo. Interesting, not duo, but interesting make there.
Oh, definitely. And since most of these people who I'm naming are all from the UK, you know, I guess might as well just have it, you know, be filmed and set in the UK.
Now, this is kind of a interesting thought that I just had. What happens if it was like a Scooby-Doo and Sherlock Holmes combination? That was also a horror.
Funny you say that because, you know, Nikolai has mentioned to me that he wasn't really a big fan of Winnie the Pooh when he was younger, but he was a really big fan of Scooby-Doo.
Interesting.
So therefore, if you got him as Sherlock Holmes, it'll be the closest thing that he can get to Scooby Doo, since Scooby Doo is not going to go public domain for a while.
That's the way it goes,
No.
because
Now I'm curious, when does Scooby Doo become public domain?
I think it's like 2070s.
Ghosts and monsters.
You're probably
Well, that's
right.
the point
But
to find.
let me look.
There's nothing
I don't know.
You're afraid, Emil.
Of course I am, and so are you.
Who isn't?
Why should Sherlock Holmes come here?
So anyone joining in, we're kind of tossing up ideas on what type of Sherlock Holmes movies there could be made.
Sadder, but a wiser man.
Why do you say
Hey,
Can't arrest ghosts
Hey,
and
406
monsters.
boys!
yeah.
Is this Dylan or is this Travis? I'm just curious. Or if it's both, hi there. So I found this article, cartoon that should have entered public domain in 2023, but they didn't because of, Disney wanted to keep the rights to Mickey Mouse.
It's Dylan, by the way.
Hey, Dylan, what's up, man?
I don't know, monsieur.
When is he leaving?
I don't know.
Hurry!
If you need anything, just ring, monsieur.
That girl's frightened, Holmes.
Obviously.
Okay, let me do this.
She made the mistake of telling us that her father was leaving.
Huh? You don't think that Journey...
Suppose we have a little talk to Monsieur Journet. It might prove illuminating. Didn't I tell you not to answer any questions?
Yeah,
Didn't I tell you to keep a
Nikolai
silent tongue in
mentioned
your mouth?
he wasn't really a fan of of Winnie the Pooh when he was a kid, but yet now he's best known for
Monsieur
Winnie the
Journet,
Pooh.
just why
And
are you
I
leaving
wasn't
my
really a
office?
big fan of
Tonight.
country music growing
I'm
up,
not leaving.
but yet,
With the idea that I was.
I got to have that fight scene
Said
in
that I would like to go away.
that Cecily Rose video. So,
Teaching her the difference. Yes.
Yeah.
absurd.
I can't say
and
that
of
I
all
approve
acting
your
roles
attitude.
I've done,
I'll
that's
ask you
the
to
one
mind your
that's
own
done
business.
the most views.
Run along here.
For the people that are watching, what would you think would be a good Sherlock Holmes if they would make a new Sherlock Holmes movie? What do you guys think?
Monsieur
Let us
Journet,
know.
right, it's none of our business.
Okay, so Scooby Doo came out in 1969. So
What do you know of the devil lady
1969
Penrose?
plus
Only what everyone in the
95.
village knows if she was killed
Yeah,
by
definitely,
monsters.
Dylan.
Seen this
Send it
monster?
to us. We can definitely do a reaction.
Done this terrible thing. Sheep have been
Oh
killed
yeah,
and
I
throats
got to
torn
watching
out.
parts of it, but yeah,
You
I've
were
been
down in prison, weren't you?
yeah. Today's been a pretty crazy day, but yeah, we could definitely do a reaction to it.
Well, I always wanted to own a hotel, and I heard this one was for
But yeah,
sale, so I bought it.
But yeah, definitely thank you for having me be a part of that.
I believe it was about
So
the time
Scooby Doo
most
enters the
of
public
these
domain in
wasn't it?
2064.
Suspect me of being the monster
Oh,
of the
64? Okay.
By then, that will be past my parents' 100th birthday.
Right, Watson, I don't. At least
Same.
not in the supernatural variety.
So our parents definitely are
The
gonna be
werewolf
dead.
who bites into
Yep.
his victim's throat.
But I mean, definitely a Scooby Doo horror movie. That would be pretty interesting.
Oh, it would, and now that I mention it, Nikolai, if he worked on the voice and if he grew out his hair, if they got him as Shaggy, I can see it. And and if he grew out, a tad bit of facial hair,
But he possibly became frightened, decided to run away.
That would be an interesting duo.
hmm
I was running away. But not for the reason you think.
yeah, I was really disappointed by who they got
Kill you?
in the recent Scooby Doo movie because I didn't think that new guy sounded anything like Shaggy.
Penrose's letter.
Cujo reimagined.
That still doesn't explain
I
its
think he's
dying.
probably talking about the horror movie about the killer
Know
saint
nothing about its being
Bernard.
here.
Haven't we got a
Oh, okay.
Thompson?
No, Watson, that won't be
That-
necessary.
That definitely would be interesting.
That you can't run away from yourself. Oh,
Oh my gosh.
turn this to Sergeant
Shaggy and Scooby go rogue and start killing the rest of the squad.
I mean, Shaggy definitely is a pothead, so maybe Shaggy and Scooby see everybody else like as Scooby, as
Scooby snacks.
oh, yeah.
That'd be good.
What would be really funny is if all the Scooby snacks actually like are made of human parts.
Something you can do for me, if you will.
That would definitely be interesting.
I could rely on you.
Yeah.
To mingle with the people
Kind of like Krabby Patties were made out of crabs.
eye on Journet.
or
Yeah.
fish.
So yeah, I'm gonna say basically that's where Dylan's getting at about Cujo reimagined because that's pretty much what a Scooby-Doo horror movie would be.
Very much so.
It just kind of sucks that we have to wait 95 years until something hits the public domain. The Scooby snacks are LSD, but they don't know. That would be amazing. Oh yeah, Dylan. So I saw that you did a review of the Mean One, which was the Grinch horror movie, and yeah, you totally gave that movie a good review. That's your favorite movie of all time, along with The Mousetrap.
Scooby snacks are LSD, but they don't know it. That's awesome.
It is. So, Dylan, so
Thank you, my dear. I'm glad to see that the tears are
I
all
mean,
down.
Matthew
Thanks to you and Mr. Holmes.
Lillard
fires
definitely is
aren't going
best known
away.
for, playing Shaggy. But besides Matthew, and ironic I say that it's because you have an autograph from Matt, but who would you cast as Shaggy? Either in a Scooby-Doo horror movie or just anything Scooby-Doo. I was mentioning that Nikolai, if he worked on that Shaggy voice, I can see it.
So I say to myself, Potts,
Oh yeah, David Howard Thornton definitely was the best part in the Grinch horror movie. I mean, it should be expected because David is a phenomenal actor. Yeah, he's a phenomenal actor.
My name's Watson, Dr. Watson of 221.
I just kind of wish that they made the Grinch talk in that movie, but maybe they did that to avoid, getting into legal trouble because the Grinch is not yet in the public domain. They only got away with that movie under parody law, since that the Grinch is not yet public domain. So if they make a Scooby-Doo horror movie, that would be the only way how they could get around it is under parody law. So that would mean
They say honks, it's who
they
to
just can't call him Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Evan,
Well, I mean,
yeah?
they can definitely do like a lot of different things where, because Scooby Doo is not in the public domain,
No.
but they can definitely make a knockoff, kind of like how Pokemon is a knockoff of Digimon. They can definitely change what they need to change and make it where it's not quite the same, and make it a horror movie. But people kind of go, "Ooh, this is definitely like Scooby Doo, but it's not Scooby Doo." Scooby don't. Yes.
Yeah. And instead of calling him Scooby-Doo, they call him Scooby-Don't. Or maybe instead of the two O's, it's just the one O.
Or Scobby. Scobby Doo. Or Shaggy Doo.
Yes, monsieur.
But yeah, Evan Peters as Shaggy, yeah. Oh wait, I just thought of this. David Howard Thornton said that he's a voice actor. So in a horror movie, what if they got David Howard Thornton as the voice of Scooby-Doo?
every time I drink alcohol, I have
That would be interesting.
But yeah, you've never seen the Terrifier movies, right?
Scooby Doo, you know what I did?
Scooby, do you know what I did last summer? Yes.
Hey, when does that movie come out? Has it come out yet?
What movie?
You know what I did last summer?
Oh, you're talking about the new one. I know it comes out this summer, but yeah. Dylan, if you want, you could collaborate with us on a movie review of it. I mean, it might have to be, virtual, but hey, I mean, do what you got to do. But yeah, Dylan, we totally should work on like another movie sometime soon.
This circle is where the murder actually occurred.
July 18th is when that's best expected to come out.
I imagine it's a direct sequel to the original movie, and ignoring all of the other sequels. But yeah, that I've noticed is also another trend within horror movies. It's either taking advantage of public domain properties, turn them into horror movies, or it's a direct sequel, or it's a sequel to the original movie, but it ignores all the other sequels.
Yeah. But I'm definitely saying we should definitely have a Sherlock Holmes horror movie.
We should.
Everyone in the village is under suspicion.
I think that would be a very interesting combination.
Yeah, and I know a bunch of people like who do music, so could always ask them if they want to compose it.
Yeah.
In which the murder is committed by a postman. I refer, of course, to the Invisible Man, a brilliant bit of deduction on the part of Father Brown.
So Dylan, what would you, if you did a Sherlock Holmes horror movie, what would you do with that?
Any other man in the same uniform should be.
Yeah, he already said Evan Peters
Had
as
me worried for a minute.
Scooby Doo, but Shaggy.
Shaggy, but I just thought of this. Even David Howard Thornton as
Got you all afraid
Sherlock
of
Holmes.
Shadow.
I saw Lady Penrose.
I can see it
I wouldn't like it to happen to me.
because it finally would be a role where he's not covered up in makeup.
Good night, Doctor.
Good night.
Travis and I actually started a new series based on that new movie where. Oh, cool, man.
And we're definitely doing our movie and film reviews.
Yeah, because for Sit Down by the Fire, we were only just doing interviews, but then, we decided that we should expand it to doing movie reviews.
Yeah.
So, Dylan, have you seen any of our reviews? I might have a different spin on it. Funny because that's what I was saying
Yeah.
earlier. I was saying that to cut down on costs, they definitely could have it take place in modern times.
Very much so.
Well, it's so strange, but a church bell ringing.
It rang the same time.
Sherlock Holmes using a cell phone might be interesting. That would be definitely very interesting.
Excuse me, Dr. Watson. Can you tell me if Mr. Holmes is
On
around?
let's say they found some reason for the characters not having their phones, like
He was out in the marshes alone.
in the Winnie the Pooh horror movie, they had all the girl characters give their phones to each other, but then that's contradicted, like with Laura, played by Natasha Tostini. When she's in the hot tub, she has her phone.
Yeah. Which was kind of counterproductive.
And then she sees Winnie the Pooh when she took a picture. Rather than leaving the hot tub, what did she do? She stays.
Yeah. Which is quite honestly a pretty common trend within horror movies, is not running but just kind of sticking around and see what happens.
Well, from what I've heard, the reason why in a lot of horror movies why they do that is because they want to get the audience all tensed up, yelling at the screen, getting all hyped up, saying, "Oh no, don't do that." I feel like that worked back then. I just don't feel like that really works.
Kind of going back to the movie a little bit, he's shooting at a light source that looks like a human. And it's kind of interesting that he's not hitting anything.
Holmes! Holmes! Are you all right?
Where are you, Watson?
Here I am. Over here, Holmes.
So Dylan, I'm assuming you've seen some of the Sherlock Holmes movies, probably either the ones with Benedict Cumberbatch or the Robert Downey Jr. ones.
Stay in the cafe.
Sergeant Thompson
Yeah.
said you were out here alone, so I thought you might need help.
Yes, so you proceeded to fall in the bog, eh?
Fall? I was pushed into the blasted thing, pushed by the most ghastly apparition. Came at me like a roaring furnace, with spitting fire in all directions. Before I could get my revolver, the thing was upon me. The next thing I knew, I was
I'm gonna go grab myself a
Are you all
drink.
right,
I'll
Mr.
be
Holmes? I heard
right
Charles.
back.
Yes, I'm all right.
All
but
right.
Dr. Watson here seems to have encountered the monster.
He has?
Come along, old fella. We'd better get you out of these wet clothes and into a hot tub before you catch a death of cold.
By the way, speaking of which, Travis and I are getting ready to start casting process for our next short film, but we just need to pick which film we're doing. We hope to release it by August 15th. That's actually a pretty quick time to get a movie processed and released. Wow.
But our antagonist is not a phantom.
But the thing actually spat flames at me.
All just a figment of your imagination. The murderer knew I was out on the marshes and obviously wanted to frighten me.
You frightened me, all right. How do you manage the flames?
Merely clothing, treated with phosphorus. When the murderer fled, his shirt caught on a tree, and this piece of cloth was torn off. Come in. I'd like a few words with you, Mr. Holmes. I'll come directly to the point. Hello? What happened to your assistant?
I'm not his assistant. If you must know, I was pushed into a boggy hole on the marsh.
Pushed? By whom?
I don't know. Spat fire at me.
My good sir, in spite of Mr. Holmes's theories to the contrary, things have been seen and heard on those...
We have everything set that we want to do and should take about a week to film. We want to film about mid-July. Okay, so it's pretty much just it's a short film, most likely, I think, right?
And up to now, I admit, I found none. And you won't. I advise you to leave La Mort Rouge. Tonight, you escaped with your life. Next time, you may not be so fortunate. Thank you for your considerate advice, Lord Penrose. Good night, sir. Excuse me. Oh, good night.
I don't like this fellow, Holmes. Why do you think he came here?
Yep, about 30 to 45 minutes. Okay. So that makes why it's a pretty quick turnaround on that. Well, definitely once you have it made, or once it's towards the end process, we can do reaction to it. Or if you have any trailers that you plan on getting made, send it our way. We'll do reaction to them.
It's cotton fabric. Yeah, take a look.
That discoloration. The purple ink must have been spilt on it.
Possibly. I should say this cloth was red with blue lines. Probably large checks. Yes, it's
Awesome.
been laundered a good many times. The blue lines are almost completely erased.
Yes, you can scarcely see them.
Good fabric, well woven with a solid base.
Hello, Bill.
Hello, Sergeant. Your phone call must have been important. You bring me over this time of the night.
It was. This is Mr. Sherlock Holmes. He wants to ask you a few questions. This is Mr. Taylor, the storekeeper, Mr. Holmes.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Taylor.
Good evening, sir.
Have you any shirts of this design? The squares are red and the lines blue.
Yes, I have.
Can you remember to whom you sold them?
I can. I keep them in stock specially for Judge Brisson. He won't have anything else.
Judge Brisson, who's he?
A retired magistrate. He's a cripple, lives alone with his housekeeper.
Have you sold any of these shirts to anyone else?
No, sir. They're too expensive for the village and the boatmen. This is the finest material. Imported.
You say Judge Brisson's a cripple?
Yes, he was a magistrate in Quebec. Had a stroke about 2 years ago.
I'm back.
He died and came here to live.
Welcome back.
Just about the time that Monsieur Journey arrived here.
We have everything set.
It was just about then.
What are you going to be filming in July?
Give me Judge Brisson's
Oh, he doesn't know what he's going to be filming, but it's going to be, they're going to be doing a short film.
Okay, but yeah, I definitely would love to be a part of it. Any way, shape, or form.
Didn't I tell you not to answer the phone at night?
Yes.
Well, then obey my orders.
Yes.
No answer. Where'd you live?
On the Marsh Road. But I don't advise you to go
Yep,
there
and then
after
when
dark.
it's released, I
This is a
definitely
fortress,
love to
guarded by
promote
a
it.
savage dog.
I think Dr. Watson and I will have to pay Judge Brisson a visit in the
I'm
morning.
pretty sure I
Good night,
promoted
gentlemen.
Good night, Mr.
viewer
Holmes.
discretion's advised on my social media.
Yeah, we definitely have promoted a few stuff for a few things of theirs. So
From you.
Yeah, like how I shared on social media, you know, about their merch. Oh yeah,
yeah,
Dylan, I sure hope that you made some sales after when I shared it.
After he's had his breakfast?
I'm sorry, Watson. Our business won't wait. Yes, Watson.
Hey, doggy.
Good Friday. Good Winnie.
Who is it?
Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. I telephoned Judge Brisson we were coming.
You can't come in. He's given orders no one is to be admitted.
You wouldn't want Judge Brisson's death on your hands, would you?
No, sir.
Then you'd better let us in.
I'll probably lose my job for this.
Not after we've talked to Judge Brisson.
My good woman, you keep an eye on that dog.
Oh, don't worry, Watson. You know as well as I do. The dog won't touch you if you're with its master or mistress.
Well, you know it and I know it. We're quite sure the dog knows it. Good dog. Happy dog. Nice, Winnie. Good, good. Good, Winnie.
Let me warn you, I'm armed, and I'm an expert shot.
We didn't come here to harm you, Judge Brisson, but to protect your life.
I told you over the phone this morning, Mr. Sherlock Holmes, that I did not want to see you. I don't want to see anyone.
But I want to see you.
Stay where you are. Nora, show these men out.
So, Dylan, guess question for you. If you could get somebody
I have
to
the fullest
direct a
confidence in
Sherlock
my own
Holmes horror
defenses.
movie, who would
I will
you
not trade
want?
them for any theories of
to
Mr.
helmet?
Sherlock Holmes, however plausible you make them sound. Now get out, will you?
I'm sorry.
hey Zach.
What's up, man?
Prevent your death. Almost certainly by violence. Come along, Watson.
We're just watching Sherlock Holmes. What are you up to?
But yeah, the only way how I can continue doing Let's Watch a Movie is if we do the commentary.
Yeah.
Pardon me. May I trouble you with that envelope? I must have dropped it. Thank you.
Danny and Michael.
You're a very
Phillips.
clever man, Mr. Holmes.
A crude device, Judge.
Okay.
But it's confirmed my suspicions that you're not the cripple you pretend to be.
I'm sorry. But I'm frightened of everything and everybody. Why'd you sit down?
You want to get shot, Holmes?
Come in, Watson, and close the door.
Oh, he's the same age as me.
Judge Brisson has decided not to shoot us.
He's from Australia. Oh, he did. Oh, he did talk to me. Okay.
Quite understandable. The whole village seems to be consumed with fear. But in your case,
Wait, Ronald
judging from your
McDonald?
vicious dog, those barred windows,
Ronald
like
McDonald
not
UFC
fear of the
fight
supernatural.
promo?
Just what are you afraid of?
Well, truthfully, Mr. Holmes,
I didn't
don't
know that even was a thing.
And yet I feel it's very
I didn't know either.
At times, I feel I can almost reach out and touch it. When I first came to La Mort Rouge, I had a slight attack. It affected my legs, but, well, I've recovered.
And you've continued the deception, using the wheelchair as an excuse for not going about the village.
Well, you see, people would be more inclined to accept my hermit-like existence.
Yes, naturally. Tell me, Judge Brisson, had you ever heard of Monsieur Journet before you arrived at La Mort Rouge?
No, I hadn't.
How many
Or
of
Lee
these ships has he
Cronin?
for you?
Okay, Lee Cronin. What did he do?
I'm not positive.
You still have them?
Well, one or two became badly worn, and I told
An
my
Irish filmmaker.
my housekeeper to give them to a man who was
Oh,
going to
he
work
did
for me at
Evil
that time.
Dead
Can you
Rise.
describe him?
Okay.
I'm afraid I can't.
Okay, yeah, I can see
It
that.
was about a year ago, you see, and, well, I didn't pay much attention to him. He worked in the garden.
Could your housekeeper remember him?
No, that was a different housekeeper then.
Oh, and they're gonna reboot
Try to remember, Judge Brisson.
The Mummy, and they're gonna get him to helmet. Okay.
I do remember one thing. He had a very slight limp. I used to watch him from that window as he walked across the lawn.
Splendid. Continue your vigilance, Judge, and under no circumstances allow anyone to enter the house, even someone you may know well.
What's that mean, Holmes?
May mean nothing, Watson, and it may mean everything. I'm quite sure that Sergeant Thompson will have observed a man with a limp in a village the size of La Mare Rouge. Good day, Judge, and thank you.
Good day, sir.
I'm sure Sergeant Thompson will have observed a man with a limp in a village the size of La Mare Rouge.
But yeah, Lee doing a Sherlock Holmes horror movie, that would be cool.
Definitely be interesting.
Left of the Delaport Hotel, Mr.
Oh, certainly.
Dana sleeps here when he's in Le Mans Rouge.
Always love to see different type of movies that are made from one.
It's been deserted for years.
He walks with a limp. A left foot, I think. To the trained ear, Sergeant, footsteps have a characteristic rhythm as identifiable as fingerprints.
What do you want?
Come to have a talk with you, Tanner.
I've done nothing.
And you won't mind answering a few questions.
What do you want to know?
Tell me, Tanner, where were you 2 nights ago?
Down the river?
Christopher Lee, I think, would have been cool if they wouldn't have gotten him as Sherlock Holmes. But yeah, definitely not going to happen now since he's passed on. But especially if they got Christopher Lee like when he was younger.
Quite evident that you have
Yeah.
been to the river within the last 48 hours.
You trying to make me out the murderer
Well,
of
how old would Christopher Lee be right now if he was still alive?
Because you
He was
murdered
born in like 1922, so he definitely would be
A monster!
past 100.
on a bristling shirt.
So that would be about the time that this movie was actually filmed.
This, I think, was done in the 1940s, actually.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm pretty sure it was the 1940s.
You got him, Sergeant. I'm sure of it. Come on.
Yep, 1944.
Okay.
7.2 on IMDb and a 73% on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, make of that what you will, but you know, but it did get pretty good reviews.
Yeah.
I see no reason why we shouldn't leave for home tomorrow.
So much for tomorrow. But for tonight, what do you make of this, Watson? I found it in Tanner's room.
Just a photograph?
That's right, old boy, just a photograph. You notice anything else about it?
It would be interesting to see it directed by Stanley Kubrick, too.
Oh yeah,
Alright.
Signature. The upper
yeah,
half
he was the one who
sometime
did
in
The
last year,
Shining.
I'd
So
say.
yeah,
Well,
that
this
would have been
fuss about
awesome
no
to have
photo.
seen
Watson, have you ever stopped to
a
think that
Sherlock
science
Holmes
detection
horror
is very
movie
much like
directed by
stringing
him.
a handful of beads?
Definitely would be.
And in this particular case, you might say that I have 5 beads.
I mean, at that time though, people weren't really thinking about turning public domain properties, you know,
This gentleman
into
is
horror
Arthur Ray,
movies. But yeah,
and I think I shall start
there
with
was
But Lady Penrose is dead.
the dead can tell us many
Pinocchio's
things, Sergeant.
Revenge in
You and Dr.
1996,
Watson remain here at the hotel. I'll meet you later.
but that one never got as popular
I'm sure you
as
got Tanner,
the Winnie
Sergeant,
the
but
Pooh
Mr.
one
Holmes is
did.
never satisfied with a dead
I think they can probably do another new Pinocchio Revenge or something like that. They can probably make a new horror movie.
Funny you say that because the same team behind Winnie the Pooh did announce that they are going to make their own Pinocchio horror movie.
Interesting.
I'm not surprised, but yeah, they also announced that they're going to make a Bambi one. They already made a Peter Pan one.
They made a Mickey Mouse one.
Yep. Multiple. Well, people have made multiple Mickey Mouse horror movies. Well, yeah, people have made multiple Mickey Mouse horror movies ever since, you know, Steamboat Willie went into the public domain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I knew as soon as it was announced Steamboat Willie was going public domain, I knew somebody was going to make that into a horror movie.
Yes, Final Destination Bloodlines was an amazing movie.
Oh, it was. I especially loved what they did with Tony Todd.
Perhaps this will explain. Found the lower half in a room occupied by a boatman named Tanner. The upper half was in Lady Penrose's safety box.
My personal favorite of all the Final Destination movies probably would have to be the third one.
Yeah.
But that's just
Although-
my own personal 2 cents.
I really did like this new one, the Bloodlines. It was definitely a really good touch to it.
Where and when
Oh, it was, yeah.
was this murder committed? In Quebec, 5 years ago. Ramson was shot 3 years later trying to escape from Talon prison. His body disappeared in
The way
recovered?
they wrote off his character was just chef's kiss. Yes.
I don't believe so.
Mhm.
Penrose. Alistair Ramson and Tanner are one and the same person. What?
Oh, Dylan,
It's he who set
did
me
you
up about
see
my
the
foot
Peter
without your
Pan
wife's warning. What could my wife have in common with a
horror
murderer?
film?
Yet he killed her. He killed her? Yes.
Yeah, I saw it over at the movie theater, and yeah, I thought that it was
In his room.
pretty
After
damn good.
confessing to the evidence of his crime, he bolted and jumped out of the window into the river.
But yeah,
Sergeant Thompson
the
found
actor
him
who
shot
they
dead.
got to play Peter Pan in the movie, he was
He's
creepy.
dead. In a way, yes. I don't understand. Tanner is dead only because he was
No.
discovered.
Not yet.
Thereby
Okay.
left his useful
Well, yeah,
to his
definitely
creator.
check it out when
I'm
you
afraid that
get a
Alistair
chance.
Ramson, the actor who created
Hey,
Tanner, is very much alive.
the 406
Sure, now
Boys,
that you know who the murderer is, the police
Um,
are as simple as that.
they make a lot of movies, right?
Yeah. Ramson
They
has
do.
They mainly do.
another character for himself.
Yeah,
Like
like,
several
you know,
others, who are by
I
now
also gave them the
familiar to people of
idea
the town of Lamar Rouge
to do
and
public
quite
domain
above
movies,
suspicion.
since that doing
Mhm.
public domain movies on my channel got me so many views. I mean, heck,
Even if
that's the
New York
reason
Butler-
why I got to 2,000
This
subs.
is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah,
Penrose's death is
but
only
yeah,
the beginning. There's no saying
they
where
did a
this
movie
madman will
called
strike
Viewer
next.
Discretion's
Tell me,
Advised a year
is there
ago
anyone
now, and
else
yeah,
in Lamar Rouge
filming
who may
that
have been
definitely
connected
was
in
a
any way with the
lot
case
of
of
fun.
Alistair Ramson? Judge Brisson
Yeah, I'm
pronounced him
surprised that
alive
Johnny
and sentenced.
Knoxville announced that,
Yeah.
because he was saying that Jackass Forever was going to be his last Jackass movie. It's because that they're all starting to get older now. So, and I mean, how much longer can they do all that crazy shenanigans?
Judge Brisson, this is Sherlock Holmes.
But yeah, I mean, regardless though, although I'm surprised about it, I definitely will go check it out. I just feel old knowing that Jackass 2 came out almost 20 years ago, and I saw that at the movie theater.
Somebody's obviously imitating
Yeah.
the voice in order to gain access to the house.
Have you ever seen any of the?
Certainly, Mr. Holmes.
But yeah, Taylor, have you seen any of the movies of Jackass?
I've seen one. It's not my cup of tea, to be honest.
I get it. I mean, Jackass is a really hard movie to review because there's not supposed to be like a deep, compelling plot. It's not supposed to be anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just something. It's just mindless, dumb, fun entertainment. But I mean, is it funny? Yeah.
It makes it's weird, and it's not something that I get into, but it's, you
I
know,
get it.
some people like it, and there's things that I like that people don't like, and there's things that people like that I don't like. So I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's all
I mean,
up to everyone else's decision type of thing if they like it or not.
I do agree, Dylan. Wild Boys is even crazier, but of course, Jackass I think is the property that sells more.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jackass, when we were all teenagers, that was all the craze at that time.
Yes. I remember when I was in high school and all that, they were being popular, and I'm like, it's not something I care for.
I get it. I'm not gonna lie, those movies are pretty funny.
Yeah.
Especially Jackass 2. And even in Jackass 3, like where Johnny Knoxville is dressed up as the grandpa, and then he's making out with that girl, and then he says to somebody, "She's my sister." Yeah, it is crazy, like how he's the sober one now when the reason why he did all those crazy stunts in the TV show and the first two movies, it was because that he was on drugs, but now that he's sober, now he realizes what he's getting himself into.
Yeah.
And yeah, funny you mentioned Steve-O because I actually got to meet him when I was a senior in high school. But hey, I mean, ultimately, I am really happy for him, that he sobered up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm going to be honest with you. Getting drunk and high, it's not as fun as people make it out to be. But
No.
hey, if it makes one person happy, then that's great. But yeah, me and Taylor can speak from experience. It's not fun.
Well, I mean, getting high is always kind of fun. And have you ever played Cards Against Humanity, drunk or high? It's a great way to play the game.
Never thought of it that way.
But no, alcohol and getting high is not something that is all ups in a sense. It's not all the great things that you hear about. It's a lot of ups and downs. So
I mean, if it works for one person, then that's great, but just not
yeah.
for me. Sherlock Holmes was gonna solve the mystery, but then he got high. He was gonna go find some clues, but then he got high. And now the mystery is unsolved, and he knows why. Yeah, because he got high, because he got high, because he got high.
So Eric, what's your favorite movie of all time?
It's a tie between Jaws and, you guessed it, The Lion King.
For me, gosh, it's a hard one. Lion King is a good one.
It is, yeah. The
But
original.
the original, yes, absolutely. Not the new live action. That's
Although it was all CGI.
yeah, it was not. I would probably say, gosh, that's a hard one. I would probably say, and I'm gonna probably get hate for this, Charlotte's Web.
Why would you get hate for that?
Because it's not a big name movie as much. Or no, probably Polly. Polly is another good one that I liked.
Oh, it is, yeah. Honestly, I thought that because your special interest would be, trains. I just thought they would have been a movie that would have had to do with a train.
Surprisingly, there's not a whole lot of movies revolving around trains. A lot of it is like, oh, there's a train in it, but that's it. Like the Polar Express, like for example, it's not about the train. It's, they just happen to be riding on a train. The Green Mile.
By a mile.
Yeah.
Green
Mile is really good.
It is, yeah. I know Travis said that his favorite movie is, I believe it's Psycho. Yeah, Psycho, yeah.
All right.
But yeah, Psycho is a great choice to have someone's favorite film be.
Yeah.
During the trial, I grew to hate him. And when he sentenced me to prison, I vowed that someday I would escape and kill him.
So, Dylan, you mentioned your favorite movie. What's your favorite song?
You're right.
That'll be interesting.
So, Taylor, what's your favorite song?
Who had no right to live.
Oh, gosh.
Already died. The third remains. Tonight, I shall
That's a tough
kill
one.
him. Mr. Holmes, I've always had the greatest admiration.
I can tell you're
for your
really deep
talents.
into thought.
Thank you.
Your performance in this
It'll
case
probably
has
be
also
a
been
My Chemical Romance
so brilliant
song.
that I'm afraid I'm going to have to ring
Um,
on it a bit prematurely.
We just seen the original Bates Motel in Psycho.
Jeez, I can think of it.
That's awesome, dude.
I'm Not Okay is probably my favorite song by My
Okay.
Chemical Romance.
I shouldn't think of sending you to your death.
And why would you pick that song?
Because it resonates with me a lot, which is quite messed up.
I have no objection. If there is a hereafter,
I think it's
which
pretty
I
obvious
doubt,
what my
you
favorite
and he
song
will meet
is.
very soon, Mr. Holmes. The name of the third person is...
Interesting.
Knives and Pins by Black Veil Brides. Yeah. That's a good song, and yeah. If you ever get the chance to see them live, I definitely would. I mean, I saw them live way back when I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
All right, Watson. Where is he, Holmes? John.
Yeah, when I was a freshman in high school, you were in 8th or 7th grade, right?
There it is, Watson.
When
Because I
you were a senior, I was a sophomore.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that Black Veil Brides was here 2 years ago.
I didn't know either.
Within this moment?
This is obviously the secret room. Where his disguise
Interesting.
No.
An actor's dressing room.
He is an actor, Watson. One of the finest acting talents of our time. Look at this.
Were they at the Metro?
The housekeeper. His name's Alistair Ramson.
Alistair Ransom.
Yeah, I did not know.
No, it's not important. The important thing is that he murdered Lady Penrose. Mr. Ramson is a paranoid.
Yes, they were at the Metro. All right.
There's still another.
That's a shame
Learn his name, you
that I
fell
missed
immediately fell
that.
down the stairs.
Sorry, old
You
chap.
can be, old boy. You saved my life.
They carry you through the emo phase. Yeah.
Where do you think he'll strike next?
Obviously, Journey is to be his third victim.
Journey?
Yes, Watson. As in the cases of Lady Penrose and Judge Brisson, Journey
And that was kind of like
persons
My Chemical Romance to me. It carried me through my emo rays, emo phase. Wow, if I can talk.
Tellum prison, where Alistair Ramson was confined. He's the third person against whom the murderer holds a grievance.
Now he's disappeared.
Journey disappeared.
So Marie told us in the cafe.
Watson, Journey's disappearance can mean only one thing. He's in hiding. Our job is to find him before Ransom does. Journey is the only man who can lead us to the murder.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people will
Talk with Marie.
say that in the natural.
Welcome to the Black Parade. Yes.
Absolutely. But yeah, back during the MySpace days, a lot of emo kids had that song as their profile song.
Yep.
But yeah, that's the one thing that I miss about MySpace is that MySpace actually had the option to have profile songs, and that's actually how that I found out about a lot of bands.
That is very true. Nowadays, how do we find songs and new bands and all that? People don't really like share them as much. We don't go to like the record store or the CD store to find them. Like we don't go to Hastings or anything like that. We kind of find them by just kind of listening to random songs on, Pandora or that type of stuff. We don't really hear about it unless if it's part from our artists that we like.
And unfortunately, since physical media is starting to die, probably within our lifetime, eventually DVDs, CDs, and all that will eventually will become completely done for, just like
Very
what
much so.
happened to VHS. And I hate to say that, but
I should have prevented this.
Yeah.
oh yeah, that song by 50 Cent.
Everything possible.
And
You averted. The child's death is a tragedy.
Yes, I did. I think I shared it on my Facebook, but
She was standing
You know,
there by the desk, and they
in recent times I've experienced,
by that door.
Came in through that
loss of my memory. So
She alone of all
Yeah.
people had
he forgets everything all the time.
a you well. Someone who might have a message for
But
He can
hey,
barely remember his name sometimes.
And when she refused,
my name is
Bob. Oh my gosh. Bob from
when he questioned her.
oh shoot, I just forgot the name of the movie that we just saw.
saw a lot of movies, so.
It was a superhero. It was the Marvel movie. I can't remember her name offhand.
Oh, you're talking about Thunderbolts.
Yeah, Thunderbolts. Bob from Thunderbolts. That's you.
So yeah, Dylan totally gets it.
What could have happened to Holmes? He's been away all day. It's very unfair of him keeping me in suspense
The
like
New
this.
Avengers,
He knows
yeah.
how worried I become. He continues to do it. And you know what?
Yeah, and that totally went way over my head that with that title, the New Avengers, it was supposed to be like satire or parody. But yeah, Travis was the one like who pointed that out to me, and I was like, oh, I was not aware that that was their intention. So,
Yeah, I didn't know either.
but now we know. And so yeah, to all those who saw our movie review of Thunderbolts, this is unofficially our follow-up.
Too late.
Everywhere within a radius of 5 miles of this village. I've even been to the church in the hope that he'd disguise himself and attend mass.
He may have gone to Quebec.
Every road's covered. We haven't left this to
Well, maybe you should see it.
All right, I'll answer it. Hello? Hello?
You should definitely go down and take a look at it. Matter of fact, I think I will pull up it and put the link in the tab. Let me get to it.
You should get it to the point where we can have the live chat like actually be on the
We've had a fine journey. Sergeant, you wait here till I call.
screen.
I can attempt to do that.
I refuse to see. But yeah,
You're just asking too much from me.
but yeah, me and Taylor went and saw it. I will admit it's one of the better live action Disney remakes, but it's not as good as the original. There are some unnecessary added characters.
It's Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. We're here to help you.
That is the link to the video. That was the Thunderbolts review.
But yeah, Dylan, I totally get it.
Holmes, where are you?
I just feel old knowing that the original film came out over 20 years ago, and now it's old enough to warrant a remake.
Yeah. Actually, honestly, it wasn't that horrible. It was actually pretty good. One of the better live actions that Disney has done.
Yeah, the other live action remake that they did this year that, that got a lot of controversy was Snow White. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, that movie got so much hate. And Rachel Zegler, yeah, she's definitely...
What if I refuse?
Yeah. Man, she hurt her career.
I have to say to you, it's not going to be easy.
I have a feeling that Dylan might be being sarcastic, but
I hope that's sarcasm, because that's probably one of the worst ones.
Now you know why you must
but hey, but if it truly is his opinion,
Yeah, he was joking.
oh yeah, okay, yeah, oh gosh. That movie was so bad that I made a rant about it on YouTube, and that's one of my most popular videos. And people thought that rant was hilarious. Oh yeah,
There we go.
it was gone.
Now we got the comments on the screen on the video.
I don't see it.
He attempted to escape from Talon prison when I was a guard.
It shows comments on stage, so it's up there now.
Okay, I see it now.
Let's go. Good.
I'll make a block for it.
How are you going to do that, Holmes?
I'll tell you both about it on the way to the hotel.
They call me Cooper Pete.
So you're really leaving, Yes, Sergeant. Gentlemen, Mr. Sherlock Holmes and I are leaving immediately for London. It's extremely regrettable that
But yeah.
escaped us. All our cases cannot be crowned with success. I'm extremely sorry, gentlemen.
Have you no idea where this fiend has gone?
Mr. Holmes is of the opinion that he's escaped across the border to the United States. It may be years before we can trace him.
But yeah,
If ever.
a Lion King horror movie, I think would be
Yes, Mr. Sherlock Holmes and I
Very
are
good
leaving
Jim
immediately.
Carrey's son. That's the most common thing I've heard throughout my entire life. People have told me throughout my entire life, you remind me of Jim Carrey.
Thank you, Dr. Watson. It has been most stimulating talking.
Well, doesn't Jim Carrey also like you a little bit?
Well, he likes me enough where he sent me a signed autograph.
Oh, by the way, Mr. Holmes would like to see
Fair
you
enough.
in his room.
That was huge.
The second
Yeah.
right up there. Thanks.
And on that day, I actually saw you shortly before then because, because you were at Corey's house at that time, and then you were needing some help, and then I came and helped you out,
Yep.
and then as soon as I came home, there was this giant envelope in my mailbox, and I was like, the world? I should have recorded my reaction, but as soon as I opened it up, I was like, oh my god, and I instantly called a lot of my friends.
You got an autograph from one of your celebrity crutches.
You're talking about
What's that like?
You're talking about Scout Taylor Compton, right? I mean, Scout Taylor Compton definitely is a pretty attractive person.
Yes,
so.
Mr. Ramsey.
Hey, I'll be right back because I got something to show people right now.
Okay.
Naturally, that's what I wanted you to
Okay. Yeah, Dylan, I thought so. Yeah, I mean, getting her autograph must have been pretty awesome. Yeah, and you also got autographs from the entire cast of Friends. That's amazing.
That your disguise as a postman
Yeah, you got one from Matthew, Lillard, Scout, cast of Friends. I think you have more autographs. I just can't remember from who. Yeah, I have autographs from Catherine Corcoran, Jenna Canal from Terrifier, Rico Browning, Jim Carrey, Bela Lugosi's son and granddaughter.
We're surrounded by police awaiting my
Yeah, that's amazing, dude. And yeah, not just one autograph, but two of them from. Yeah, two of them, as I just said. Yeah. Oh, Taylor's showing us a little sneak peek.
Well, this will be the first time that we show anyone this so far. We have not done anything here for this yet. But we will be at Billings FunCon this year. And we will be doing a raffle. I think, Eric, you guys can hear me, right?
Yep, I can, yeah.
Awesome. And we have 3 posters that we'll be raffling. One will be this one right here, which is Winnie the Pooh. It is signed. Eric can walk through who is all signed here.
Yeah, Natasha Tuscini, Craig Dowsett, Reese Frank Waterfield, Nikolai Leon, Daniel Ronald, and I think Natasha Rose.
Natasha Rose Tinney. Yeah. So that's one. I'm going to turn this down a little because that's a little loud.
I know it's confusing. It's because there were 2 Natashas in
Yeah.
the movie.
So that's one of the posters that we're going to be raffling off. Another one is going to be the Mouse of Horrors.
Signed by Louis Santer and Natasha Tuscini.
Yep.
Both of them I've had on Sit Down by the Fire. And yeah, both of them are wonderful people to talk to.
And then our last one that we're going to be raffling off is this one right here.
Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare.
So,
I mean, Peter Pan already makes sense to turn it into a horror movie since, it's about a guy who goes into children's homes.
I should like to see a bit more of
yeah.
before we sail, Holmes. So should I, Watson.
Yeah, even Louis Santer was telling me about how, it makes sense. It makes more sense to turn Peter Pan into a horror movie, a lot more so than Winnie the Pooh.
So yeah. So we'll be auctioning those off. So.
Churchill say that?
My squeaky chair. All right, and that's the end of this movie.
Thank you so much.
But thank you for everyone watching.
Of course.
Yeah, I get through the credits.
Yep. And be sure to stay tuned for our next episode of Let's Watch a Movie.
Which will be next week. We just don't know what time yet.
But yeah, we will let you all know.
All right. Thank you for watching.
Alrighty. Thank you.